Here we have a D3fy D Roman numeral 3s. Man, that's quite a name they got there.
I'd rather die than shoot an eclipse gun, or take the field with an independent knee. Haven't seen anything good from Dave Youngblood. I'll pass on picking up a Bob belongs to me now. I just want something from outside the norm. The D3s could be just what I need now. A slight rebadging of the hostile road. I hope it's used just like I know it should now.
Alright, time for the D3fy D3s review. Another entry to mid-level spoolie that is trying to be the next Ion. So what are we going to talk about this time? Well, this is the first and only D3fy spool. Not much to discuss about past guns. Okay, what about the history of D3fy? Who's the mastermind behind this company? Who's their Simon of Inception Designs? Who's their Dave Youngblood of Dye? Who's their Bob Long of Bob Long Technologies? I don't know. They've been around for a few years now. They just started making paint. They sell a couple spider clones. They sell rebadged pure energy HPA tanks. I'm starting to notice a problem here. I don't know what to say about D3fy because they have no history yet. They're still too new. They don't have a talking head that makes the rounds on social media, tournaments, and YouTube talking about the focus of the company and where they want to be in the paintball world besides the ever generic, provide quality products for a good price. Gee, we've never heard that one before. I'll be honest, usually I like talking about older guns because I find it easier to discuss why a company released a gun at that time in its history based on the market as well as the company's state of affairs. It's easy to see why a desperate Wargame Products released a spool valve in 2008 trying to remain relevant. It's easy to see why Dye killed off the Proto Matrix line in 2009 wanting to have a clear distinction in quality from the entry-level Proto to the high-end Dye. D3fy isn't like these other companies, and to be honest, I'm always a little nervous about newer paintball companies' long-term viability in this ever-changing industry, especially if it's a company the size of D3fy. Little paintball companies like Conception Designs, Palmer, CCM, and AKA can survive with low-volume sales since it's a bare-bones operation with little advertising and overhead. D3fy Sports definitely has a more ambitious air about them, and hit the ground running with a flashy website, several guns, and it's all priced squarely at taking on the big dogs. Sometimes I get a little uneasy about jumping on board with a newish company because what happens if the sales aren't there and the company folds? Obviously, I have no information on how the company is doing. They could be doing fantastic for all I know. They have been around a few years now. Stop talking about boring shit, Kevin. What about the gun? That's why I clicked on your stupid video. Relax. This is an outlier gun, a gun from outside the establishment paintball companies, so it needed to be something different from the get-go in order to get any attention from the paintball public. If you don't know already, the D3fy D3s is a spool valve gun, yes, but it's also known as a switch valve gun. Basically, the solenoid contains a rod that moves when the gun is aired up and fires. This rod has O-rings that channel air from one passage to another, and when it moves, it causes the bolt mechanism to fire. It doesn't need an LPR to control bolt speed, instead controlling how long the bolt remains open through dwell adjustments and high pressure input. D3fy didn't play up this gun's origins much at launch, but it didn't take long for people to realize that the D3s shares its design with the short-lived Hostile Creations Rogue. The Rogue itself was made by our old friends at Air Challenger. We make it powerful! Oh damn, they got themselves a new website / check. Shit dog, check out those silhouettes. 10 different flavors of MG7, but no D3s. Surely they're responsible for the D3s, since they made the Rogue, and the D3s shares its bolt engine and switch valve design with the Rogue. Why isn't it on their website? So the Hostile Rogue sold for about $650 upon release, and it had an all-aluminum body and an OLED board. I could make an entire other video describing all the issues Hostile Creations went through with the Rogue, from faulty guns being sent back and money not being refunded to the fake Hostile Inc. company that sprung up trying to sell the returned Rogue markers. But D3fy didn't want to sell a high-end gun, so they took the core engine of the Rogue and used some cost-cutting measures so that they could sell this gun for $250 instead of $650. For starters, the body is now plastic, yes, and it does feel a bit cheap, but it does look nice in my opinion, and durability thus far has been fine. The shell itself, called the rhino skin to emphasize its durability, is actually one piece, unlike the clamshell design of the MG7. The hard plastic sides are surrounded by a rubber membrane top piece that you fold butterfly wing style over the feed neck to remove the skin. The inner core is aluminum, as is the frame, trigger, and even the foregrip. So all the tactile surfaces remain metal. This makes the marker feel more solid in the hands as opposed to, say, an E-Tech or an ETHA with their plasticky grips and foregrips. While the gun lost its metal body and OLED board, it kept the Rogue's 14-inch two-piece barrel and low-rise feed neck. It's so shallow my velocity doesn't even fit in it at all.
You just made an enemy for life, D3s.
Oh my, where did that come from? Anyway, the only loader I have that fits properly is my trusty old Draxis Pulse. I'm sure any hopper with a flat neck will fit in it fine. Bear in mind that the D3s uses metric Allen keys, so don't go shoving in your die multi-tool in there. You'll ruin it. You'll ruin everything! Speaking of being ruined, my shop ordered 2 of these D3s's for customers who wanted them, and both had issues out of the box. Basically, the customer aired up the gun for the first time and dry fired once, and the bolt stuck forward and air gushed down the barrel. This freaked him out so much he returned the gun immediately and bought something else. Turns out, from the factory, these guns' velocity adjustment screws were way too far in, resulting in mass overpressurization, blowing one of the O-rings off the switch spool. Isn't that weird? My friend Spanky had a theory as to why this might have happened.
When they assembled the guns, the velocity adjuster was all the way in. So it's max pressure out of the box. So as soon as you air the box,
they're testing them with a fucking compressor, is what they're doing.
That'll do it, huh?
Yeah. Right, because think about it. If you got a compressor, you're putting in 150 psi. You got to crank that reg all the way up to get that 150 all the way. And then they're testing them. And they're like, oh, they're good. And then if they forget to back it out,
I guess.
Not the best first impression, yes. But at least this problem was easily diagnosed with D3fy's tech videos on YouTube, and I quickly familiarized myself with the internal workings of this gun. I like how the foregrip snugs the 2 body halves together so there's no unsightly gap along the seam. You want to see what a bad seam looks like on a gun shell? Look no further than the Brass Eagle Samurai.
Careful, that seam is so big you might fall in there.
I like how quick the bolt is to remove. I also like the on-off ASA that self-vents. A lot of affordable guns in this price range don't have that feature these days. On the early run D3s's, the grip panels were just mirrored from the factory and the text appears backwards on the other side, which made them look too lazy to change the mold. Luckily, in more recent batches, they fixed that and now the text reads correctly on both sides. How does it shoot? It shoots great, really. The sound signature has this harshness that would suggest a gun with a lot of vibration or kick, but that's simply not the case. It's quite smooth feeling, and the shot quality is excellent. Efficiency is, well, I haven't been paying attention to how efficient it is because I don't care about efficiency in general. Any good field has free air, and any good player doesn't need to shoot his or her entire tank to eliminate a handful of players. It's probably not great, but I'm not complaining. Give me shot quality over efficiency any day. Packaging is fine for the most part. The box is attractive. We get to see all of the gun's features, like each and every bullet point is some patented high-tech system that's been implemented into one gun. But one thing where D3fy lags behind is the manual. People, please stop including quick start guides with your gun. Full manual or bust. Eclipse has been the benchmark of manual quality for years. If the D3s had a proper manual with the troubleshooting information they had in their YouTube videos present, D3fy might not have lost a new customer in that kid who returned his after it wasn't working out of the box. Sometimes that's all it takes to make a first impression. Overall, I like the gun, and I hope D3fy sticks around for years to come. Now, what should I review next? Oh, how about this? Yeah, it's my new Vulcan code. Let's just open it up. Oh no! It's nothing but court documents!